The following production is produced by the State University of New York College at Oneonta.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Inside Red Dragon Sports. I'm your host, Geoff Hassard, the Assistant Director of Athletics and Sports Information Director here at SUNY Oneonta. And tonight we're going to be talking to our women's tennis team. We'll be visited in studio by head coach Bill May and two student athletes from the team, Emily Shannon and Katie Wlodarchuk. So stay tuned. After the break, I'll be joined by my first guest, head coach Bill May.
Hate those screaming commercials on your radio? Well, so did we. That's why we created Oneonta Community Radio, WUOW. You can leave regular radio behind, just tune to 104.7 WUOW, bringing you arts, information, and entertainment from the State University at Oneonta.
Welcome back. Joining me now in studio is head men's and women's tennis coach Bill May. Welcome to the show, Bill.
Thank you for having me.
Certainly want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come by and talk with us tonight. I always let my guests give us a little rundown of kind of where they came from, because you're not a native New Yorker, so we'd like to hear a little bit about where you came from and how you got to Oneonta.
Well, I'm originally from Las Vegas, Nevada. Came to Indiana and was coaching in Indiana for several years at two different universities, Huntington University and Indiana Wesleyan University, and discovered that SUNY Oneonta was looking for a men's and women's tennis coach, and visited and found out I just loved the area. So I fell in love with the area almost immediately.
And which is very similar to what a lot of our student athletes say when they're being recruited, and they say as soon as they come to campus it just seems to fit. So obviously for you that was important as a choice for pretty much moving to a place that you had lived for many years to come all the way out to, unknown territory, I guess. So
I experienced the same thing. As soon as I saw the foothills and the beautiful green and the campus, I fell in love with it immediately.
Now your last stop was Indiana Wesleyan?
Indiana Wesleyan University.
And there you were the men's and women's tennis coach as well?
Just men's tennis coach.
Just men's tennis?
Yes.
And you had some very good teams out there. You want to talk a little bit about maybe your experience there, because you served as sports information office as well, sports information director. So just tell us a little bit about your experience out there.
At Indiana Wesleyan, I coached just the men's tennis team, and we had several outstanding teams. In fact, we had two teams. My final two teams there were NCCAA national champion runner-up and several All-Americans. Just a fantastic experience.
Now, your undergraduate, where'd you attend?
Marion College and Indiana Wesleyan University.
Okay. Now, you were also, you competed at the collegiate level while you were out there. Tell us about your student athlete experience, because obviously, now in high school, just so people know, you did play on a pretty state champion basketball team with NBA player Scott Skiles, which is pretty exciting, I guess. You guys had a couple years ago, you had a little reunion for that team. So you obviously were a very good student athlete yourself. Can you talk about the experience for you as a collegiate athlete?
Well, I've been real fortunate to play with a lot of great athletes for a lot of great coaches. And as a high school player, I played basketball, football, baseball, and tennis. Went to college and played only tennis, but was recruited for basketball and tennis. And while at Marion College, we went undefeated a few years. I went to the national championships and played 3 years and really had a great experience. It was that experience that kind of fueled my desire to be a coach.
So do you carry a lot of those experiences as a student athlete when you're trying to work with your own men and women players here? Try to use some of that experience that you had as a student athlete to kind of relate to them more?
I do. I've had a number of injuries that I can take with me from my own playing experience and bring those to the table and share with people how to do something or how to avoid something to avoid injuries. Also in terms of just decision making, how to make good choices, how to avoid the challenges that I think all college students face.
Now, just turning a little bit to our women's team this year, we're having another winning season. We're preparing now for our SUNY tournament, which is always pretty tough because we have such a very good conference to compete in. Can you just talk a little bit about this year's team and maybe highlight some of the players that have performed well for us?
I can. This year's team is really very young. I think we're the most talented team we've had in my 6 years here, but we're also very young. We have one senior, a couple of juniors, and the rest really are freshmen and sophomores. Having another outstanding year is your guest coming up, Emily Shannon and Katie Vlodarchuk. They both have had outstanding seasons, and this year they're playing #1 doubles. Last year they were champions at #2 doubles, and now at 1 doubles the competition has stepped up. It's a little better, and they're finding that, I think, challenging for them, which is exciting. We also have some very talented freshmen. One in particular is playing #5 singles for us, Danielle Broworski. At this point in the season, I believe she is 6-1 at singles and had just a fantastic year.
So you expect that maybe this year, not only Katie and Emily moving up, we might be a little deeper in our lineup going into the tournament, which obviously would help us if we get some favorable matchups in the earlier rounds. Do you think that we could have some SUNY champions in singles and doubles this year?
I do. I think we will challenge, not just for individual singles and doubles championships, but I think this team is talented enough to compete for the team championship. I think we're not far away from it, and I think by the end of our season, coming up in another week or so, we'll be ready to go.
Now, when we talk about the SUNY, it's really become like a 4-team race, Geneseo, New Paltz, Cortland, and us. Where do you see us? You said you think we'll challenge for the top spot. Who do we have to really jump over to get there?
Geneseo right now is the defending champion from last year, and they still have the edge right now, I think, in experience in some of their positions. After that, I think it's really close between Cortland, New Paltz, and Oneonta. In fact, we just played Cortland and lost a very, very close match. It was a 5-4 match, and 1 point here or there our way, and it's a 5-4 match win for us. So I think it's just a very, very tight race. I think we could do it.
Well, we certainly hope you do it. Now, looking at when you're out recruiting student athletes, what kinds of things do you talk to them about, about Oneonta and the experience and being a part of the team and being a collegiate athlete?
Well, first of all, I share with them that SUNY Oneonta has a wonderful umbrella of services. Not only do we have a fantastic counseling center, health services, we have something that I think students today are often looking for, and that's assistance with their academics. We have something called CADE, the Center for Academic Enrichment, which allows students to come in, discover maybe that one of their classes is very difficult, and to get a tutor for that class, free of charge. That's a great service for our college. Beyond that, I teach a course that allows for students to come in and learn a little bit more about study techniques, study habits, reading techniques, ways to just improve their overall opportunity for success.
And how important is that being in, teaching that class? It's introductory to college.
It's called Orientation to Higher Education.
And the students that we have in there are students who may need some extra help, possibly getting, acclimated to the, college experience and the college life. Like, what kinds of things do you try and stress during that course?
Well, we talk a lot about study skills, reading skills, how to read for content, how to genuinely study. I know today's student believes they can multitask with a laptop, cell phone, iPod, and their homework all at the same time. I encourage them to not do those things, to really focus on just the one thing that they might be studying, work on those things. What I think that does is teaches some of maybe the old school skills for success in learning.
Right, and with those lessons that you're teaching in your classroom, you try to bring those over to your women's tennis team and your men's tennis team. What strategies do you use there to emphasize the importance of being a good student and a good athlete?
Well, we talk about study halls. We talk about studying on the bus when you have an opportunity, taking your books with you. We also talk about having small group activities like small group study halls and things really related to just making good choices. And oftentimes that means choosing to study, or choosing to read, or choosing to do homework, or choosing to go to class, as opposed to some of the other things that are going to pull you away, pull a common student away.
Right. Now, working with both the men's and women's teams, do they work well together? I mean, is there a kind of a common bond? They all kind of, they get along, and how's that dynamic work?
I think it works well. I think when we practice, our men and our women practice completely separate. We really don't practice together, but we practice often at the same time. And I have a wonderful assistant coach, Tammy May, my wife as well, but she's a fantastic assistant, and also Glenn Mayer, who's been a longtime assistant and an employee at the college. And he's been very, very helpful in the past. So I think it works well, and it gives kind of an advantage to us sometimes when we're recruiting. Sometimes male or female recruits want to know that they can maybe hit with the opposite sex, and it works out well usually.
Well, I can see how that could be a benefit. Now,
Yep.
we're in season really with both men and women. The women's traditional season we would consider in the fall, where we play our conference tournament. The NCAA championship is not until the spring, but our men play kind of a limited schedule. You go to a couple of tournaments, and we've fared pretty well this year so far. Can you talk a little bit briefly, because we'll have you back on as we get closer to the real traditional season for men's tennis, but can you just talk briefly about your men's season so far?
I can. The men's season has been really exciting. We finished in second place at the Flower City tournament hosted by the University of Rochester, and we were very, very pleased with that finish. We were the number 2 seed, and we held up to our seeding, which is excellent, because that's a tremendous tournament, a lot of great competition there. We also have coming up the ITA Small College Championships, and we've always found the competition there to be very challenging, and so we're hoping that we can show our best tennis. And if we do well, if we wind up winning a singles position or the doubles draw, then we advance all the way to, I think it's Corpus Christi, Texas, for the national championships. So there's something for us to look for.
And now your men's team, do you use the fall season as a tryout? I mean, your roster kind of fluctuates between fall and spring season. Sometimes you get a transfer in or something like that.
Exactly.
Do you use it as a tryout? I mean, some kid might be playing number 3 for you in the fall, but then all of a sudden they come back in the spring, and boy, they could be playing 2 or 1. I mean, does that happen often?
It does happen. And often what we find out is that the time period from when they arrive in the fall to the end of that first semester, who's really dedicated, who really can improve their game during that time period, who's willing to put in the extra effort and energy to condition, work on their strokes, those kinds of things. But also who's putting the time in the classroom, who's really holding the role of a student athlete. And so this time period is very valuable for us to assess our squad.
Now, on the women's side, does that work the same way? You hold your ladder tournaments, as we might say in tennis, to compete. Have you had any surprises this year, or did you think when they came in at preseason that you kind of knew what your lineup was going to be, or were there some surprises in your lineup this year?
A lot of surprises, a lot of surprises. What I discovered is that some of the new people coming in, we also have a transfer that has arrived this year, Carly Smith. And besides Danielle, our freshman, and a few other freshmen, what I discovered is that we have probably as many as 8 people who are extremely close to each other. And on a given day, one could beat another. And so our lineup, as it is set, really could change, and I wouldn't have any problem with it. I think we're just that close, all the way up and down our lineup. It makes us very competitive.
Right, which would make us competitive within our conference, because they're all competing even in practice, and that would get them to those matches where they could be critical, 1 point either way.
That's right.
Well, any other kinds of advice that you would have for, student athletes that are looking at Oneonta, and, what kinds of things? I mean, because you are our STAC coordinator, which is our student athlete academic coordinator, and you're involved in a lot of academic things. What kinds of things would you tell prospective student athletes that might be watching?
Well, I would tell a prospective student athlete to visit the campus. Visit the campus and explore our umbrella of services. They are fantastic. Besides the umbrella of services that we offer, we have outstanding facilities. I think they're second to none. And so I would ask a prospective student athlete to come to campus and then compare us to anybody else. And I think we'll compare very favorably.
Just within the SUNY. I mean, our facilities they really aren't rival. I mean, from our tennis facility to our turf field that we have to our soccer facility, I mean, there aren't too many SUNYs that are out there that are offering the same kinds of facilities that we do athletically.
That's correct.
And even just academically, I mean, our buildings are constantly being refurbished. When student athletes say, I mean, I've talked to a couple that have been on the show previously, and they just say that as soon as they came to campus, they were like, it was beautiful, it was well kept, I mean, maintained. We have various areas on campus that are being fixed up, but it's for the only benefit of our student athletes and those who will come after them. So,
I think also our library. Our library compares very favorably to every other library I've seen.
Well, we certainly wish you good luck the rest of the way and in the upcoming SUNYAC tournament. Thank you again for visiting.
Thank you.
And good luck, and we'll see you again.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Bill May again for coming by, and after the break, I'll be visited in studio by junior Emily Shannon. Welcome back to Inside Red Dragon Sports. Joining me now in studio is junior women's tennis player Emily Shannon. How you doing, Emily?
Hi, good.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I've been playing tennis for 3 years here. I'm from Northport, Long Island. I'm a fashion design major.
Fashion design major. A lot of fashion majors now. Is that kind of a growing field to get into?
It's definitely a big major here. We have a program with FIT, which is one of the best schools, so that's what brings a lot of it.
Now, are you planning on going there from here, or no?
I'm not going to do that because I want to stay here with the team.
Okay. Speaking of the team, you're one of our captains this year, second year as a captain. What's it like to be a team leader for the women's tennis program?
It's harder being on the tennis team, I think, being a leader, since it's not really a team sport. So you have to come up with a bunch of different things that'll get the team to work together.
Okay, so every individual has to kind of pull their own weight, I guess.
Yeah, you're competing on your own, so.
Now, do you guys have any team building activities that you do throughout the year, or?
During preseason, we usually do one activity. Last year, we went to college camp and we did a bunch of team bonding activities.
You felt it helped you throughout the season, and
yeah, definitely.
Because even though we do have some younger players this year, I mean, the roster, is pretty much the same as it was last year, which the continuity, which is always great. Do you find the competition pretty fierce amongst the individuals on the team?
Definitely. During preseason is when you really feel it, because that's when you're playing your team in the competition. And then once you get into your set spots, it's more like you just want to help your team grow.
Now, you're playing for us this year. You're playing at number 3 singles.
Yeah.
Last year, our next guest that we'll have, Katie, your doubles partner. You guys were SUNYAC champions last year at second doubles. You moved up to first doubles this year. What was that like?
Well, we played first doubles my freshman year also. We've been playing together for 3 years. So it was kind of like last year we were taking a step back and we knew that we could do it at that spot, and now it's just we have to push ourselves back to the top and do it at first double now. The
competition is pretty stiff. We're going to get into our SUNYAC tournament. How do you see us going into that?
I think we have a good chance still. We've only lost to Geneseo and Cortland now, and I mean last year we lost to them also, but we still competed with them in the tournament, and there's definitely a lot of time that we can practice and get better before the tournament.
Now, within your team, as you say, being a leader, do some of the younger players that come into the program, I mean, have they kind of looked at you and, Katie as people to lean on for, advice or questions, maybe academics or?
I mean, they definitely see us as like we know what's going on, what we're doing, so they ask us questions when they don't know what's going on. So yeah, I think so.
The experience within the women's tennis program for your 3 years, you were recruited to come here. Has it been an experience that you would go back home and say, you know, wow, this has been such a great college? And
definitely. I mean, I wasn't planning on playing tennis even in college, but then when I decided to come here, I kind of just told coach I was going to try out for the team, and it turned out to be I wouldn't take it back.
You came to campus to visit, 3 years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
And what kinds of things did you find about the college that you thought, wow, this is a place that I could really do well?
Well, the campus is gorgeous, and they had the major that I wanted, and I'm doing a business minor also. They had that, so I just love the campus.
And that's kind of the story that we've heard from other student athletes. Your career-wise, I mean, academically, you know, your fashion major, what kinds of classes or what kinds of things are you doing within that major?
Well, I'm also in the Student Fashion Society that we put on the fashion show each year. I designed for it last year, so that's kind of it's a big thing that I do outside of the team, and it takes up a lot of time.
What exactly did you design? Did you clothes?
Yeah.
Okay.
You do 4 outfits.
4 outfits.
And then you have to recruit models to walk for you. They're my friends, and then they put on a big show.
And how did your creations go over?
They went well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty exciting. I mean, be able to create your own kind of fashion clothes. And now, would you wear them yourself?
They were a little crazy. They were like bright colors and stuff, not really ready to wear stuff.
No. Just shifting gears a little bit, being a leader, you're involved in our Captain's Leadership Program here within the athletic department. This is our 2nd year with kind of a full, what kinds of things are you learning there that you might be able to utilize within?
There's definitely a lot that we learned. Tracy does an awesome job with that. She did like resume building, and that we carried over to the team and helped them along with that. And just different things on like how to lead your team in a way that is actually gonna follow through and like success with the team. And
now you're talking about Tracy Ranieri, our Director of Athletics, who has just brought so many valuable programs to our student athletes here at the college. She's been here for over 16 years, and I know the programs just in the 10 years I've been here have just made our student athletes more, I guess you'd say, more marketable. They can build their resume, practical experiences. Are you finding that during your first 3 years here that some of the things that you're learning are definitely tools that you can take with you?
Yeah, I mean, with the captain's leadership, with the resume building, I would have never gone to the Career Development Center, but that she got us involved in that. She made us send in our resume, and I have a resume now that has been critiqued, and I'm working on it, so it's definitely good.
Now, what other kinds of things are you going to be working on this year as you go forward with the Captain's Leadership Program? Can you highlight any one or two?
We've only had one meeting so far, and we just worked on how to address different team issues. So we were given like scenarios, and we had to act out how you would address your team or your coach or different situations.
So you're bringing, I mean, the things you're learning, right, like that night that you might learn, you're bringing right back to your team.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how have you brought some of that back yet, and how's that worked?
Well, I mean, it helped with different ways to get the team to come together, especially, like I said, with the tennis team, it's hard to get them to work together, but the different things that we learned in captain's leadership definitely helped.
Well, that's certainly great to hear, that practical experience. Any advice for any potential, like if you were a student athlete now, you're watching the show, I mean, what would you say? I mean, you've been here 3 years now, you've taken quite a few classes, you've been, the campus is beautiful, as you said. What one thing would you say about Oneonta that would make someone come here?
I think it's really the people that are here. I mean, my teammates, they're going to be my friends forever, so it's the people here. It's the best, yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. Well, we certainly want to wish you good luck in the upcoming SUNY tournament.
Thank you.
You and Katie, we hope that you can take home another championship, not only in doubles, but in singles, because Katie plays 6 singles as well. And continue good luck through your junior year, and maybe we'll have you back next year to talk about your senior season. Thanks for coming by. Well, thank you again to Emily for coming by today, and we'll certainly wish her good luck. And please join me after the break when we'll be joined by Katie Podarchuk. Welcome back. Joining me now is senior Katie Vladarchuk of the women's tennis team. How you doing, Katie?
Good.
You can relax, we'll be okay. Senior member of our team. Can you give us a little bit of information about yourself, a little background, where you come from?
I live in Avoca. Play tennis. I've played tennis for a really long time, I guess since I was 6. And I played high school tennis all the way since 7th grade, senior year. Played tennis all the way since freshman year here, and I'm an education major.
Now, since you were 6 years old, wow, I don't even know. Wow. That's incredible to be able to play this long. Is it something that you thought when you came here to Oneonta that you definitely were going to play tennis and compete?
Yeah, definitely. It was, I played tennis and then figure out what major I was going to do after that.
Now, was that the one of the selling points here? I mean, you would have been, Bill obviously was recruiting at that time. Tell us a little bit about that process. What was involved in that?
I don't really remember. I think I emailed Coach May, and then we just kind of talked over the phone a little bit here and there. And he told me to come visit. We visited, we talked, and then I made my decision. Yeah,
what kinds of things did you capture you right away from your visit to Oneonta?
Well, I lived here when I was younger, like 10 years old or something like that, and I just moved away and then just thought I'd always come back for college.
So you lived in Oneonta?
I lived on the outskirts of Oneonta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you already kind of had a familiarity with the area?
Yeah.
Oh, so it was like coming home. Mm-hmm. All right, good for you. Your 4-year experience with the women's tennis program, I mean, you've been a SUNY champion, doubles with our guest earlier, Emily Shannon. What kinds of things are you looking for as we go? I mean, because we're looking forward to the SUNY tournament, and we're having another winning season, and certainly you're a very important part of that, one of our top singles players. What kinds of things are you looking forward to now as we get into your, I guess, would you say, your final SUNY tournament?
I guess one of my main focus is just to go as far as I can in the tournament, try to get first place, hopefully, in both singles and doubles, but see what I can do.
Now, as Emily said earlier on the show, you guys played first doubles when she was a freshman and you were a sophomore. Now, you're back up to first doubles, playing together for 3 years. Has that helped you a lot in kind of working together and being in sync, I guess we'd say?
Yeah. Definitely helps with my confidence.
Now, doubles partners, you have to communicate. I mean, do you guys kind of get a little crazy on the court sometimes?
Sometimes, yeah.
If things aren't going well? How do you guys motivate each other?
Just high fives, just jokes here and there, laugh. It's kind of a loose environment. Now,
have you found the competition pretty tough this year in the SUNY? We played a couple of matches. We had we played Geneseo. We haven't played New Paltz yet. That's the only school we haven't played.
Right.
How would you say you'd size up against? Do we think we'll be okay going into the SUNY tournament?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Now, for you have an interesting situation going on. You have your twin sisters on the team with you, joining you this year. Haven't played together since you were in high school.
Right.
What's that like, playing with your sisters at the college level?
It's fun. It's interesting. It really has its ups and downs sometimes, being family, bickering here and there. But, I mean, it's fun.
Yeah. Now, did you have to convince them to come here? Did they want to come here?
They weren't even really sure if they wanted to come here because I was going here already. I mean, they kind of asked me if it was okay. It's fine. So, I mean.
So now that they're here, like you said, it has its ups and downs, but most part is a chance for you to at least spend more time together, practice together and travel. I mean, you get to go places with the team. So all in all, you'd say it's been a pretty positive experience up to this point?
Up to this point, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, because we have the rest of this season, and of course we do play a spring season.
Yep.
Can you tell us about your 4-year experience? I mean, we go to, any trips, any things that go on that make the tennis program exciting to be a part of?
We went to Florida for spring break last year, the team. It was fun. We played a few matches down there.
Now that's a combination trip with the men.
Yeah.
What's it like kind of hanging out with the men's tennis team?
Fun. I mean, they make everything fun.
Now, do you ever talk to them about, maybe compare notes as far as maybe playing competitive and, maybe some of them, I mean, if you watch each other play and root for each other, do they offer advice? Do you offer advice? I mean,
sometimes, yeah. I mean, we go to each other's home matches and root each other on.
Right. Now, education major, you haven't really gotten into your block yet, which kind of is, I guess, a very difficult part of any the experience, because we've actually had one student athlete talk about her block, and she's actually competing as a student athlete, which I can only imagine that makes it even that much more difficult.
Yeah.
What kinds of things are you looking forward to there? I mean, it'll be a lot of time commitment. You have another year left of school. Are you looking forward to that part of your education here?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting in the classroom and interacting with the students.
Now, what grade level are you looking to?
From middle school to high school.
Okay, so secondary education. Any particular subject?
English.
English. Now, is it something you've English? A lot of people, when you say English, they don't really, they kind of shy away from that. But it's something that you've always enjoyed, writing, reading.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, the professors here that you've had so far, have they been, how have they been within your program? And
they've been great. They really know what they're doing.
Yeah. Now, playing for the women's tennis program for 4 years, what would you say about your cumulative? I know we still have a little time left, and you still have your spring season, but what kinds of things would you say about your cumulative experience to this point?
With tennis?
Yeah, with tennis first.
It's been great. I mean, it's been a fun ride.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Now, Emily talked a little bit about making lifelong friendships and how important that is.
Yeah.
The other programs that we have, she's involved with Captain's Leadership, and are those programs important, do you think, for the student athletes as a whole to be involved in?
Yeah, to really get the full college experience and to take away what you learned here into the real world.
Yeah, a lot of practical stuff. I'm sure Coach May has a lot of practical life experiences that he likes to share and is important, which a lot of our coaches, I think, try to make sure that our student athletes are getting a full experience. What about your college experience to this point? I mean, what kinds of things would you say are the one thing that you would really highlight to a prospective student athlete?
I mean, you really have to have your priorities straight. You have to manage time, and just do your homework, go to class, go to practice.
Going to class sometimes is just the thing, right?
Yeah.
And when you're in season, it can be difficult managing all that.
It takes up a lot of time. Yeah.
Do you find that your time management skills are good?
Yeah. I mean, they really have to be, especially being a student athlete.
Now, those things that you try to talk to your sisters about?
Yeah.
Sharing those experiences. I mean, I guess as the older sister, and now I guess there's also a younger sister.
There's a fourth, yeah.
Yeah, and although you probably won't be here, I mean, is she thinking about Oneonta as a choice as well? I mean,
yeah, she's definitely thinking of Oneonta as a choice.
I think probably it's a good selling point that the fact that the three of you have kind of come here and had a great experience. I know you've had a great experience with Coach May and the women's tennis program, and we certainly want to thank you for being, a member of our team, and wish you continued good luck as you get into the SUNY tournament this upcoming week, and certainly as you move forward in your education. So thanks for coming by today.
Thank you.
All right. I'd like to thank Katie, Emily, and Bill May for joining me for this week's show. Upcoming home events this week, we have a home men's tennis match in their non-traditional season on Tuesday at 4 o'clock against Union. And then this upcoming weekend, Friday and Saturday, we have men's soccer home again and a couple of SUNY matches. And also field hockey is home on Friday afternoon as well, October 9th, and that game is at 4 o'clock. I'd like to thank you all again for joining me for Inside Red Dragon Sports. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Monday.